Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and your Superstars results as well. And some news. Dark main event from Raw was Randy Orton versus John Cena for the WWE Heavyweight title. Andre the Giant, aka Andre Rene Rusanov, died on January 27th, 1993 at the age of 46. He died in his sleep of congestive heart failure. He was the first entrant into the WWE Hall of Fame. Hall of Famer Road Warrior Animal, aka John Laurinaitis, turned 54 on Sunday. He was born January 26, 1960. Happy birthday to him. And his son James is a star linebacker for the St. Louis Rams. The Maestro, aka Rob Kellum, turned 41 on Sunday. He was born January 26, 1973. Former TNA knockout Taylor Wilde, a.k.a. Chantel Malowski, turned 28 on Sunday. She was born on January 26, 1986. WWE legend, the Honky Tonk Man, a.k.a. Roy Wayne Ferris, turned 61 years old on Sunday. He was born on January 25, 1953. Former WWE diva Michelle McCool turned 34 on Saturday. She was born January 25th, 1980. She is married to WWE legend Undertaker, and the couple have a daughter together, if you didn't know. And by the way, if you didn't know, you better call somebody. A Steel, aka Chris Guy, turned 41 on Saturday. He was born January 25th, 1973. Ring of Honor wrestler B.J. Whitmer turned 36 on Saturday. He was born January 25th, 1978. Former WCW personality Gorgeous George, a.k.a. Stephanie Beller, turned 38 on Saturday. She was born on January 25th, 1976. She married a member of the Misfits, but the couple was divorced late last year. Sci-Fi has renewed the television show Haven for a 26-episode 5th season, according to ZapToIt.com. Adam Edge Copeland, recurring role on the show. And Edge plays the role of Drew Hendrickson and has appeared in 20 episodes from 2011 to 2013, according to his IMDb page. WWE star Sheamus, a.k.a. Stephen Fairley, turned 36 years old on January 28, 1978. He was born. Sheamus went to the Monster Factory back in 2002. His Wikipedia page states that Sheamus went to the school based on the advice of WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hart. Sheamus debuted in WWE Developmental and spent nearly 3 years there before getting the call up to the WWE version of ECW in June of 2009. I even learned something there. Evan Bourne updated his Twitter followers on his status while in the midst of a long layoff from WWE. Don't worry, friends and followers, as Bourne wrote. I'm still marching ahead on towards my WWE comeback. As Bourne wrote, I truly appreciate the support. It's why I do this. Follow him online at twitter.com/findevan. Bourne announced on March 23rd, 2012 that he suffered a severe foot injury in a car accident, and he has yet to return to WWE TV since then. Kevin Nash stated on Twitter that he arrived home in Florida on Monday, meaning he is not at Raw. And follow him at twitter.com/Real Kevin Nash. Of course, you got the backslash in between there. Okay, Nash had some fun with the reason for his hair dye job, but I believe he is shooting straight about his whereabouts this time. Tommy Pawlowski passed the following results from the Superstars taping that was held prior to Raw in Cleveland, Ohio on Monday. Match number 1, Natalya defeated Summer Rae. Natalya won with a sharpshooter in a 5-minute match. And Los Matadors defeated Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre with Heath Slater in his return in a 9-minute match. And that was the end of Superstars. Only 2 matches, of course. And January 27th episode of Raw opened up with steals from Bray Wyatt interrupting the John Cena versus Randy Orton match at the Royal Rumble. And we're live from Cleveland, Ohio, as Michael Cole welcomes us as we go straight to the ring, and out comes Triple H with Stephanie McMahon. The Authority hits the ring, and we see stills from Brock Lesnar's assault on Big Show last night. Triple H and Stephanie point up to the WrestleMania 30 sign. Stephanie welcomes us to Raw. She talks about how the Rumble was satisfying and the yes chants started up. Stephanie says, yes, it was one of the most satisfying Rumble pay-per-views in history, and the fans boo. Triple H mocks the fans as if someone didn't get what they wanted. Triple H says that's too bad and says it was an incredible night. Triple H talks about how Orton defended his title against Cena, how Lesnar destroyed Big Show, and how Batista defeated 29 other superstars to win the Royal Rumble. Stephanie added her 2 cents and says that there was one more stop on the road to WrestleMania 30, and that's the Elimination Chamber. She announces that Orton will defend the title inside the chamber itself. Daniel Bryan's music hits, and out he comes to a huge pop. So, that puts Randy Orton in the Elimination Chamber with, 4, 5, 6 5 others? Bryan hits the ring, and the chants start up. Since Bryan's music has hit, and he came in the ring to a huge pop. Bryan asks him to stop because the Authority doesn't like it. He asks the fans to stop chanting his name because we don't want to make the Authority mad. Bryan laughs at the crowd and gets behind him. Stephanie insults the crowd and they boo her. Bryan then says he had one of the toughest matches in his career last night and says a lot of people are talking about that match when it comes to a great Rumble moment. Triple H says it was a good little effort. Stephanie agreed. And Bryan says when people talk about the biggest disappointment at the Rumble, it's him not being in the main event match. Bryan said he came to the Authority several times and told them he wanted him, but Bryan says the fans wanted him in. Bryan says that there is a yes movement going on, but every time he is asked to be in the Rumble, they say no. Stephanie says that they have to look out for the health and well-being of everyone, and with everything Bryan has been through, they didn't want him to have to compete twice in one night. The fans don't buy it because they have also made Cody Rhodes and Goldust wrestle twice. There you go. Bryan brings up the handicap matches and the gauntlet matches he's been in, so nothing different than 29 other guys being in it with him. The Authority fed him more excuses, as Bryan says they don't care what's best for business, they care about what's worse for Daniel Bryan. Stephanie asked Bryan if he really thinks that everyone came to see just him tonight. And a massive yes chants break out. Then Bryan asks if they came to see Orton, and they say no. Bryan asks if they came to see Triple H, and they say no. Then Bryan says the fans came to pick their favorite superstars, but Triple H and Stephanie needed to listen to them. Stephanie said she can't understand what they're saying, and the fans chant Bryan's name again. Bryan says he wants to be in an Elimination Chamber match. The fans want it too. He says Bryan tells Stephanie to step aside and get in Triple H's face. He doesn't think either of them should leave the ring until Bryan gets what he wants. They stare each other down and fans chant for Bryan. Triple H says Bryan has some company, and out comes the Shield. Bryan grabs a steel chair and the Shield make their way through the crowd and surround the ring. But when Seth Rollins entered the ring, he possibly could have got injured because he had a bad fall and possibly his new most embarrassing moment in his life on TV. Because when he tried to flip over, he fell and busted his ass. Okay, well, they stared each other down. Fans chanted for Bryan. Triple H, we did that. The Shield then beat down Bryan until Sheamus' music hit and came out for the save. Sheamus tried to brawl, but they beat him down. John Cena's music hits, and he's out next for the save. Cena fights off the Shield, and it's 3-on-3 now. Babyface is put in the ring to a big pop. Bryan's music hit as the two groups stare each other down. And we get the still to come moment on the TV. World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton will speak as they go back to a commercial. Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara tag team match versus Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro was up next. And after the break, Sin Cara was in the ring with Mysterio. Tonight's main event will be Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and John Cena versus The Shield. With the winning team will make it into the Elimination Chamber match. Out next comes Zeb Coulter with Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. Coulter cut a promo on Ray and Cara as their Mexican while still walking to the ring. Ray and Cesaro start the match until Cara and Swagger tag in. Cara took control and hit the springboard elbow for a 2 count. Cara dumped Swagger over the top to the floor and nailed the suicide dive, sending Swagger into the announcer's table as Zeb has words with Cesaro and Swagger about their performance. Zeb then slaps Swagger. Swagger goes at him, but Cesaro holds him back. Swagger goes back in the ring and gets at it with Sin Cara. Swagger with a big slam. We go to commercial with Zeb telling Swagger to take his anger out on Cara. Back from the break, as Cesaro is in control of Cara, Cara nails a kick to the face and stuns Cesaro. Swagger then tags in and stops the tag. Cara blocked a backbreaker and then dropped Swagger face first. Cesaro got dumped to the floor and pulled Ray down off the apron so he can't tag. Cesaro then went for a move on Cara, but got rolled up for a 2 count. Cesaro then gets a huge power slam for a 2 count of his own. Swagger tags in and they hit a nice double team power bomb for a 2 count. Swagger argued with the referee and stomps on Cara some more. Cara dodges a Swagger bomb. Cesaro then tags in and misses a splash in the corner. Ray finally tags in and starts unloading on Cesaro. Ray goes to the top for a senton and hits the big bulldog for a 2 count. Ray then gets a kick to the head for a 2 count. Swagger breaks up the pin. But Cara drops Swagger and Cara catapults Ray into Cesaro and he drops him for the 619. Ray leaps out on Swagger while Cara misses a splash on Cesaro. Cesaro hits a big uppercut in midair and hits the neutralizer on Cara for the win. So the Real Americans got a win. After the match, Real Americans pose together. Zeb shakes both of their hands and all is well with the group. Still to come moment. Cena, Sheamus, and Bryan versus The Shield in a chamber qualifier. Also, Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus the New Age Outlaws in a Rumble rematch as they go back to commercial. Back from the break, Bad News Barrett is high up on his scissor lift podium. He beats the gavel several times, like he does on every single time, since he's got this new gimmick. Barrett thanks everyone for joining us, but he says he has some bad news for tonight's TV viewers. He says later tonight we will see The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, a match that has been entitled The Battle of Cleveland. Barrett says that that's the kind of match that will have 2 losers if it were the battle for Cleveland. Barrett says that the town of Cleveland is full of nothing but losers, and that's it. And then we get a preview for Monday Night War on the WWE Network. Fandango versus R-Truth was up next. We go straight to the ring. Out comes Summer Rae, followed by Fandango. Commercial break. Back from the break, R-Truth was already in the ring, and Xavier Woods was on commentary. Truth and Fandango went at it. Truth dropped him on the shoulder, and then we see NXT diva Emma in the crowd at ringside. She's dancing around with her sign, and Truth drops Fandango. Truth runs the ropes, but Fandango goes to the floor for a backbreaker. It's actually for a breather. Truth chases Fandango around the ring. Summer got in the way, and Fandango leveled Truth with a clothesline. As he ducked out of the way, just made a U-turn, come right back. Fandango brought Truth back in for a 2 count. Fandango with a suplex and another 2 count. Fandango ran into an elbow, and Truth unloaded on him. Truth with a jawbreaker for 2. Fandango caught Truth with a kick for another 2 count, and Fandango went up top, but misses the leg drop. And Truth drops Fandango with a kick for the win. Basically, the scissor kick. After the match, Xavier goes in the ring to dance with Truth. And then we see Randy Orton walking backstage as they go to commercial. Back from the break, and Raw General Manager Brad Maddox is in the ring. He introduces himself, and then introduces WWE World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton. Orton makes his way out. Orton says the champ is here. He talks about beating John Cena again last night. Orton isn't happy about defending his title in the Elimination Chamber and yells at Maddox for it. Then Orton goes on, and Batista's music hits to mostly a pop, but there are some boos in there too. Batista hits the ring, and now you really hear the boos. Batista congratulates Orton, but the fans start chanting for Daniel Bryan. Batista says he told everyone he was back for 3 reasons: win the Rumble, headline WrestleMania 30, and win the title. 2 down, 1 to go, he says. Batista says it's not personal. He doesn't care who he faces at WrestleMania, including Daniel Bryan. He goes on about winning, and Brock Lesnar's music hits to a big pop. Out comes Lesnar with Paul Heyman. Heyman introduces himself to Maddox, and Lesnar has authorized Heyman to inform Maddox that Lesnar's patience is running thin. And he doesn't have any matches all the way up to WrestleMania as his signed deal. Lesnar wants Maddox to tell the authority that they have 2 choices to make history by having Orton defend against Lesnar. The fans pop at the second of this. The alternate is Lesnar versus Batista. The crowd pops at this also. Heyman likes both the suggestions, but says whichever decision Triple H and Stephanie makes, the fans will be the winners, and Heyman wants their answer tonight, or else. Lesnar's music hits, and he stares down Orton and Batista before leaving with Heyman. Then we get another still to come segment with the Shield versus Bryan, Cena, and Sheamus in a chamber qualifier again. And also reminding us we got Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz in a Battle of Cleveland match, which was up next. In fact, after the break, out comes Ziggler to a hometown pop. The Miz is out next as well. He also gets a hometown pop. They're both wearing Cleveland jerseys. Justin Roberts actually does the official ring introductions for the match, and they lock up and they go at it. Ziggler drops Miz with a shoulder. They run the ropes, and Miz hits a big knee to the gut. Miz gets a clothesline in the corner. Miz goes to the top, but Ziggler kicked him on the way down for a 2 count. More back and forth action as Ziggler applies a sleeper hold and brings Miz down to the mat. Miz broke free and dropped Ziggler with a kick to the face for a 2 count. As Ziggler blocks the skull-crushing finale and rolls Miz up for a 2 count. More back and forth for a moment. Then Miz goes for the figure 4 and locks it in. Ziggler makes it to the bottom rope and breaks the hold. Miz then goes for a hold again, but Ziggler rolls him up for a 2 count, and Miz counters with a roll up for a 2. As Ziggler hits a zigzag out of nowhere for the win. And after that, they go to yet another still to come moment with the Brotherhood versus the New Age Outlaws for the titles, and they go back to commercial. But next up, we get Ryback and Curtis Axel versus the Usos. When I say Oos, you say Oh! Oos. Back for the break. And Curtis Axel is in the ring with Ryback. The Usos are out next. Ryback starts off with Jey Uso, and they go at it. Ryback catches one of the Usos in midair and slams him back into the corner. Ryback beats that Uso down in the corner and taunts his brother. Axel tags in for some double teaming, and Axel nails a drop kick and shows off for the crowd. Swagger gets a clothesline from behind. Axel bites Uso now. Ryback tags back in. Well, I guess he's trying to feed himself more now. Instead of feed me more, well, he's feeding himself. Ryback tags back in for some more double teaming as Ryback lifts Uso in the air and holds him for a long suplex. 2 count by Ryback. Axel tags back in for some more offense in the corner. Ryback comes back in for some more of the same. Ryback kicks Uso in the face and applies a headlock. Uso ends up sending Ryback out to the floor, and he lands hard on the shoulder. Ryback comes back in and then tags in Axel. Axel stops the other Uso from tagging in. Finally, they tag in, and Jimmy, as the names appear now, Uso misses the big splash in the corner, but his super Samoan drop, he nails it in, and Ryback tags in and goes for the shell shock, but the other Uso, Jey Uso, tags in, and he drops Ryback with 2 super kicks and breaks the shell shock finisher from him. And the other Uso leaps out onto Axel on the floor as Jimmy hits the Superfly Splash on Ryback for the win. And the next match was Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio. Back from a commercial, and Kofi Kingston was already in the ring. We see footage of his big leap at the Royal Rumble. Out next comes Alberto Del Rio. Then we get a video from earlier in the day of Del Rio saying Batista won't make it to WrestleMania. The bell rings and they go at it. Kofi then unloads and hits a drop kick. Then Kofi mounts Del Rio in the corner with the right hand, but runs into a big boot. Del Rio drops Kofi and covers him for a 2 count. Del Rio ends up on the floor and Kofi nails a suicide dive through the ropes. Kofi brings Del Rio back in the ring, but Del Rio nails a kick to the back of the head. Del Rio then tossed Kofi into the fan barrier. Del Rio with a 2 count. As he got him back in the ring, Del Rio applied a headlock, but Kofi fought back to his feet. Del Rio slammed his head and slammed him back to the mat. Del Rio went for a second rope and come crashing down, but Del Rio with more stomps on Kofi. The fans start chanting for JBL. Del Rio beats up Kofi in the corner as JBL gets a big pop as he stands up and waving to the crowd. Del Rio gets mad and yells at JBL. The fans chant for Jerry Lawler now. Lawler also gets a pop for standing up. Del Rio and Kofi tumble out to the floor as we go to a commercial break. After the break, Kofi kicked out at 2 as he was Del Rio was getting the pin attempt. And Del Rio with another headlock and back and forth for a moment. But Del Rio ducked Trouble in Paradise and went out to the apron. They tangle and Kofi nails a SOS for a 2 count as Del Rio gets his foot on the bottom rope. Del Rio then gets a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and Del Rio points at the WrestleMania sign and the fans boo. Del Rio calls for the cross-arm breaker, but Kofi fought him off. Del Rio ducked another Trouble in Paradise and nails the backstabber for a 2 count. Del Rio goes to the top, but Kofi cut him off. Climbed up for the superplex, but Del Rio fought him off. As Kofi gets hung on the ropes, and Del Rio stomps down on his chest, Del Rio gets a super kick to the face for the win. Another still to come moment as they go to commercial with a tag team title rematch. Also, who will Lesnar face, Batista or Orton? Back to commercial. Well, they did say in the Elimination Chamber, so it won't be just, it'll be all 3 of them, I guess, plus the winners from that match from the pay-per-view. Okay, so the next tag match was the tag title. Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus the New Age Outlaws. Oh, if you didn't know, you better call somebody. Back from the break, and out come Cody Rhodes and Goldust. New Age Outlaws, as the tag team champions, were out next. Road Dogg welcomed us to the doghouse and does their usual intro with Billy Gunn. Dogg kills the rumors that they have become champions because of past relationships. He says that they became champs because they're the best at what they do. What? They're selling somebody's catchphrase. Dogg says that the Roads were good last night, but not good enough. Cody decks Road Dogg, and we start the match. Dogg and Gunn talk at ringside about how they could or shouldn't have to do this anyway. They shouldn't have to defend the night after winning. The bell rings, and here we go. Gunn starts out with Goldust. Goldust unloads and gets a quick pin attempt. Goldust keeps it up, and Gunn goes to ringside for a breather. Dogg calls Gunn off with JBL's cowboy hat. Dogg tags in and locks up with Goldust. Goldust with a big shoulder for a 1 count. Dogg also went to the corner to take a breather, and they go to lock up, and Goldust nails the right hand. Cody tags in for some double teaming, then works on the arm. Cody with a pair of 2 counts. Cody went back to working on the arm. Road Dogg goes out to the floor for a quick breather and chatted with Billy. And then Billy came back in the ring, strikes Cody before they lock up. Cody fought back and beats on him in the corner as Cody goes back to work on the shoulder and drops a pair of knees on it. Cody with a 2 count. Road Dogg fights back with the right hand, but Cody drop kicked him for a pin attempt. Goldust tagged back in and kept control until Dogg turned around and Gunn tagged in for some double teaming for their team for a 2 count. And then more tags as Goldust and Cody took back control. His gun turns it around with a drop kick, and we go to a commercial. Back for the break, Goldust nails a big power slam on Billy as Dog tags in. But Goldust catches him with the 2 count, and it looks like Road Dogg has a cut on his face. Gunn and Cody tag in at the same time. Cody unloads on him and hits a high knee. Cody mocks the Outlaws and tangles with Dog. Cody springboards in with a double missile drop kick. Cody misses a disaster kick and Gunn clotheslines him. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman make their way down. Gunn leaves the ring as Lesnar enters and Lesnar nails F5 on Cody and then one on Goldust. Then Lesnar yells at and asks if anyone hears him. Heyman says when it came time for the authority to pick choice 1 or 2. They picked 3, and that's Brock Lesnar versus no one. The crowd boos, and Heyman says this is what happens when Lesnar doesn't get what he wants. Lesnar then grabs a steel chair and whacks Cody and Goldust with it several times. Lesnar breaks a chair on Goldust and tosses it. And then Lesnar's music hits as we go to replays. Another still to come segment. As we go to commercial, the Shield versus Cena, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan in a chamber qualifier. Back to commercial. Okay. So this is the qualifier. And it wasn't on. Okay. Bella Twins, Cameron and Naomi versus AJ Lee, Tamina Snuka, and Oksana with Alicia Fox. Back from the break, and all the Divas are in the ring as the Divas champion AJ Lee's music plays. Oksana starts off with Cameron. Oksana grabs her hair, but Cameron takes her down. Cameron with a kick to the gut and a tag to Bree for a missile drop kick and a 2 count. Bree kept control, and Nikki tagged in. She worked over Oksana until Alicia Fox came in. Nikki with a takedown, but Alicia catches her with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for 2. AJ tagged in and took control of Nikki while AJ hits a neckbreaker and 2 count. Oksana then tagged back in and stomped away on Nikki in the corner. Oksana then shows off for the crowd and drops Nikki with a side slam. Oksana with a knee to the face for another 2 count. Then Oksana drops 2 elbow drops and tags in Tamina. Tamina stomps on Nikki and scoop slams her, and Tamina drops a knee and applies a chin lock. Tamina turns Nikki upside down into the corner and kicks away. Trio woe. Nikki counters and drop kicks Tamina. Naomi tags in, as does AJ. Naomi then drops with drop kicks, and Naomi with a big kick and a clothesline chin out of the corner. Naomi dances and drops a leg drop for a 2 count. Tamina came in, and everyone else gets involved. A triple suplex. 3-on-3 suplex. Simultaneously as they hit. AJ kicks Naomi, but runs into the rear view for the win. Winners of the match, the Bella Twins, Cameron and Naomi. After the match, the winners dance in the ring. Up next, another Hall of Fame inductee finally revealed. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Jerry Lawler is in the ring talking about the WWE Hall of Fame when we get the video announcing that Jake the Snake Roberts will be inducted this year, and he joins the Ultimate Warrior. We'll get a preview for WrestleMania Rewind on the WWE Network. The Elimination Chamber qualifying match was up next. John Cena, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan versus The Shield. With the winners of the match will be in the Elimination Chamber next month. Out first comes Super Cena. Then out next comes the human jar of mayonnaise, as Cena has always said. I call him the human matchstick. Sheamus followed by Daniel Bryan, the goat face. As the fans start the Borgasm chants with the yes as Bryan hits the ring as we go to commercial. Then back from the break, and the Shield was out next. It's announced that Christian will return on SmackDown. Dean Ambrose and Cena start things out. Seth Rollins tags in. Rollins keeps control of Cena. They run the ropes, and Cena decks Rollins with a right hand. Roman Reigns then tags in and gets the crowd popping. Fans then chant Reigns' name. Cena applies a headlock, but Reigns drops him with a shoulder. And they lock up again, and then Reigns applies a headlock of his own. Sheamus comes in and goes at it with Reigns as Sheamus drops Reigns and hits a neck breaker for a 2 count. Reigns turns it around and beats down Sheamus into the corner as Rollins tags in and they double team Sheamus in the corner. Sheamus with a big kick to Rollins in the face. Sheamus drops Rollins and kicks him in the back. Rollins crawls to the apron, but Sheamus grabs him for the forearm shots to the chest. Ambrose tags in and they double team Sheamus again. Ambrose works over Sheamus on the ropes as fans chant for Bryan. Sheamus with a big clothesline on Ambrose. Bryan tags in and the fans go wild again. Bryan unloads with kicks and the Borgasm yes chant start up again. Bryan with a running drop kick climbs up top and nails a hurricanrana on Ambrose for a 2 count with Bryan uppercutting on Ambrose. And Rollins tags in and Bryan catches him in a surfboard move. Sheamus then tags in and kicks Rollins while he's in the submission. Sheamus drops a leg and covers Rollins for a 2. Sheamus tags in Cena for some double suplex on Rollins and Cena covers for a 2. Cena takes Rollins to the corner but runs into an elbow as Rollins with a clothesline and a 2 count. Then they go to commercial. Back from the commercial as Rollins is in control of Cena. Rollins with a blockbuster for a 2. What? He's still in the move from Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Buff stuff. Reigns leaps on the outside and drop kicks Cena's head and on the apron. Reigns with another 2 count. Reigns readies for a Superman punch and nails Cena with it. Reigns ends up falling face first out of the ring. Cena crawls for a tag as Reigns tries to recover. Reigns is in with a big shoulder and a 2 count on Super Cena. Ambrose then comes back in to keep up the attack on Cena. More tags from the Shield as they keep Cena grounded. Cena then powers up out of a sleeper from Ambrose and rams him back into the corner to break up that move as Ambrose knocks Cena back down and hits the DDT for a 2 count. Cena finally nails an attitude adjustment on Ambrose. Bryan and Rollins then tag in, but Bryan unloads. He knocks Reigns off the apron. Bryan with more on Rollins. And a dive outside to Ambrose. Bryan with a missile drop kick on Rollins. Bryan with kicks to the chest now. 2 count by Bryan. Reigns spears Sheamus. Cena and Reigns collide in midair, but Cena gets speared and clutches his knee. Possible injury. Then we'll see. Then Bryan takes out Reigns. Rollins rolls Bryan up for a 2 count. Rollins and Bryan trade shots as Rollins power bombs Bryan back into the corner for a 2 count. More back and forth action as Rollins misses a move from the top. Then Bryan nails a big overhead throw. Bryan hulks up but misses a running drop kick in the corner as Rollins rolls Bryan up for a 2 count. Bryan turns it into the yes lock, but Ambrose breaks that hold up. Sheamus with a brogue kick on Ambrose and Rollins takes out Sheamus. Rollins misses a splash on Bryan and they both collide in midair and go down. Cena and Reigns both tag in. Cena applies the STF as Reigns powers out. Right as the lights go out and you get the Wyatt family is here. The lights come on and Eric Rowan and Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt are attacking Cena. Sheamus and Bryan make the save and there's a big brawl between the 6. Cena tosses Harper. Bryan tosses Rowan. Bryan, Sheamus, and Cena are announced the winners by disqualification and advance to the chamber. So that puts 5, I would say 5 in the chamber because you got Cena, Daniel Bryan, and Sheamus. And then you got Randy Orton already in it. And then possibly Batista. And then Brock Lesnar. But since the contract of Brock Lesnar doesn't have any more matches scheduled until WrestleMania. So the winners by disqualification, Cena, Bryan, and Sheamus. After the match, the Wyatt family headed to the stage. The Shield throws off a fit at ringside because the Wyatts cost them a spot in the chamber match. And Raw goes off the air with Super Cena, Bryan, and Sheamus celebrating in the win. Yay. And I haven't gotten the results for the main event yet. I'll post that on the SmackDown video from the Dark Match main event. Thanks again.